Can I get a couple senators to let me know if they're ready to start? Clickers, everybody has them. All right. This meeting is called to order. Do I have a move to approve last week's minutes? Actually, let's do opening roll first. A, if you're present. Oh, shit. Okay. Roll is open. I'll leave it open for 20 seconds. All right, we're close. All right, 26 people here. Now, do I have a move to approve last week's minutes? Moved by Senator Blair, seconded by Senator Cooper. Any objections? Seeing none. Is there any public comment? What's up?
I'd like to just make a move to set.
No, this is a microphone situation. You can't hear anything. Let's do it. Give that man a microphone.
I just want to make a move to suspend bylaw 205.2.3.3.1, which removes the cap of 5 minutes on public comment.
All right, there's been a move to remove the cap for 5 minutes for public comment. Is there a second? Second by Senator Zhang. Any objections? Seeing none, so moved. Moving on again to public comment. Please raise your hand if you want to be recognized. Okay. Yeah.
Good evening. I'm going to take this off. Wow, what a crowd. I hope I can remember everything I want to say to you. My name is Joe Zumbo. I'm the Director of Student Legal Services. I'm here for Black History Month, actually, tonight. This is Black History Month. You know, I wanted to tell you about a Black history figure. You know, organized African-American self-defense did not start with Black Lives Matter. It started with the Black Panther Party for self-defense and its young leader, Huey Newton, and his friend Bobby Seale. Huey Newton and the Panthers put the white world on notice that the days of terroristic lynchings and anti-Black riots and discriminations and harassments and maltreatment by police, those days are over with, is what the Panthers said. Now, from now on, Black people fight back is the idea. The name of the party was the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, okay? Newton said that the Black Panther Party did not advocate violence, but they did advocate self-defense. The Panthers instituted armed protective police patrols, monitoring the interactions of the Oakland police with Black residents. And they scrupulously adhered to the law when they did so, and Huey Newton was for a time a law student, actually. But the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense did not do anything with firearms that white gun rights activists did not do today. When the Panthers openly carried their firearms, and those were rifles, only rifles, no handguns. The California state legislature, under the sponsorship of then Governor Ronald Reagan, passed a law against open carry. It was even called the Panther Bill, against open carry in California. When white gun right activists do that today, there's some state legislatures can't act fast enough to pass something to give them the right. The difference is racism, of course. But Black self-defense did not include just the armed protective police patrols. It also included a Breakfast for Children program, one of the first of its kind. It included a bus program to transport people back and forth from prison so they could visit their relatives and friends in prison. It included a school, which was accredited by the state of California. And other community service programs, all of which were meant to help Black people survive. Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. was her original name. Now, Huey Newton was accused of murdering a police officer. He stood trial in 1970, and he was acquitted of that charge. He was initially convicted of a manslaughter charge. Now, manslaughter means that you killed somebody you didn't intend to. A California appellate court threw out that conviction, but not before he had spent many months in solitary confinement, even though he was not a discipline problem. And you know, the horrors and torment, excuse me, solitary confinement, they leave the victims with many wounds. Paranoia, social dysfunction, impulsive violence, depression, suicidal thoughts. It's really a horror. He was released from prison in 1970, and at that time the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover instituted the famous war against the Panthers, against other groups too, but mainly the Panthers, which consisted of 24/7 surveillance and harassment of the Panthers, misinformation, disinformation, forged letters to and from, probably responsible for the defection of Eldridge Cleaver from the Black Panther Party, and also assassination, which I'm thinking there of Fred Hampton, who was your age when he was murdered in his sleep in Chicago. They didn't even stop at the Breakfast for Children program, by the way. They tried to destroy that too. Much of this was illegal and was investigated by the Church Committee, the famous Church Committee, Senator Frank Church's committee. But the pressure of that, the war against the Panthers, and the wounds of solitary confinement were too much for Huey Newton. He was only human like the rest of us, and he declined into drug abuse, could no longer lead himself or the Panthers. But not before, by the way. At the same time, he earned a doctorate from the University of California, Santa Cruz in social theory. What was his dissertation? Guess what? The War Against the Panthers, a study of repression in America was its title. You can read it anywhere online. It's in the library, too. He was murdered by a drug dealer in 1989. He was trying to buy cocaine. So, you know, I'll try to be brief. It's Black History Month, and I urge you tonight to remember Huey Newton. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Erin McGrath. I'm the acting vice chair, and there's a lot of people here, and we're all kind of blocking the exits, so if you guys would just allow me to rearrange you for like 5 minutes so we can all be safe and comfortable in here. So to start, we've got this big empty space over here. So the people right here, can you just scooch up over in this row here? And then everybody over there is going to walk over and fill in this gap over here in the front area of the tables. So that's what we're going to do first. So we're just kind of squish in there. Okay, beautiful. Kiara, I see you and I know your name, so I'm making you lead the line. You're going to come around. Right to the back, in that little corner over there. That's where you're going to go, and everyone is going to file up and follow you.
We're going to move back.
We're going to move these tables back.
Oh, wait.
Okay, everybody. I see some people standing and not moving. Yes, Isabella, you too. Come around.
Can you pick my book up?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now we're gonna have some people in the front move over, stand up against the wall over there. Let's see. Goal is to make an aisle for the door. Keep filing in. You can fill up this front area too, all the way down. Keep filling in. Beautiful. Wait, don't stop by the entrance. Come all the way down. People aren't gonna be able to fit. Okay, Rangers hat dude. We're gonna all the way down. Okay. Stop moving. Mina, I'm about to say your name. Come on. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Now the ultimate goal is that big giant exit to be a little clear over there. So we're just gonna, everyone in the corner, just park the C's right in front of the exit, and then I think we'll be good. So there's more room for people to come in, and we can also leave later. What do we think?
Can they just make sure that there's accessible exit
Yeah.
routes in case any of us or them have to like get up?
Yeah.
So
We'll just make sure we keep some aisles, people can get by, and then you can leave. People up here, don't feel like you're trapped. If you want to get up, just get up and go. Not a big deal. All right, okay. I think this is good.
Thank you, Erin. All right, is there any further public comment? Please stand so I can see you, or raise your hand if you're on the floor. Okay. Layla, you go first. If you got the mic, pass it down over there. That way, back to the...
Okay, hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about my friend, but before I do that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Layla Siddiqui, and almost 5 years ago, July 2018, I was raped by my ex-boyfriend. I was 16, and I am a survivor. But I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to take away from my friend's story. I'm telling you this because when I found out what happened to her, my heart shattered. My heart shattered because I love her, my heart shattered because she is my friend, and my heart shattered because I hate the fact that someone so dear to me has to experience the pain I know so well. Last night, me and my friends went to go visit her at the hospital, and let me tell you, it was a heavy night that I will always remember. I watched her stumble into the restaurant because she is so traumatized from what happened to her. Her body is beginning to fail her. She can't walk. She can't get in more than 3 steps before she starts to collapse and begins sobbing about how she can't do this and doesn't want to be here anymore. She's so visibly traumatized, and there are still people on this campus laughing at her for her efforts to get justice and make a difference. I'm not going to go into all the details of my friend's experience because there are some people in this room who don't deserve to know my friend like that and what me and my friends have been witnessing for the past 2 days. But I will tell you this. I will never get justice for what happened to me. There is no proof. I didn't have the right resources, and I spoke up when it was too late. And I refuse to watch this happen to my friend. I refuse to watch this happen to other people on campus. We are at a campus that promotes resources for sexual assault victims, has an office specifically for these kinds of cases, and preaches about protecting students' mental health. But from what I've seen, it's nowhere near effective. So what's the point? What are we going to do about that? I haven't heard a single victim tell me anything good that the school has done for them when it comes to their experience. And being that this is the case, we have to stick together. As a school, for the sake of the fact that we share classes together, we share a campus together, we share 4 years of our lives together. If someone reaches out to you, listen to them, believe them, support them in any way that you can. If you know something and choose to stay silent, you are contributing to the massive problem it seems that we have. Your voice makes all the difference, and I promise you we could be the change. I will never get justice, but my friend can, and so can the other victims on this campus. Please do the right thing.
So, my name is Erin, and we're probably not who you were expecting to speak, but we are friends, and before I go on, I would like to give a trigger warning. Yes, we're talking about sexual assault. Yes, we're talking about rape. It's very real things that happen, very real things that happen on this campus with people in this room. So, again, we're friends. I was actually her roommate when the initial situation occurred. So, some of you might be here expecting a tell-all, an in-depth story about my best friend's rape, but this will not be happening for 2 reasons. 1, she doesn't feel safe doing so, and 2, because the school made her sign papers that bar her from doing so. So why isn't she here? I don't see her. Again, she does not feel safe here anymore. This is what she's asking for out of this school. We're not asking for him to get life in prison. We're not asking for radical change. All we really want is for my best friend to feel safe in her place of education. And after a year, not a thing has changed. The fact that there are students, ones we've considered friends in the past, ones who came out here tonight, actively ignoring the situation because of petty situations, because they don't want to believe a 19-year-old boy is capable of coercion, is horrifying. The fact, this isn't just a policy problem. not just a faculty problem, it's a community problem. To all of us. And how are we supposed to get the adults to take us seriously when our peers won't? Having my roommate tell me that she cannot live with me anymore because her rapist knows where we live. Watching as her hands shake as she takes only a few bites of her meal. Watching her legs give out as she tries to walk a mere yard or two because the trauma has affected her so bad she cannot feel her legs. Is this considered safe to you guys, to the university? She couldn't even get a room change this semester. And I'm not expecting you guys to fire the whole administration. I'm not expecting you all to fight each other. But what I do ask, the bare minimum, is that you show your support. And that's not just to her, not to me, but to everyone that comes your way in such a vulnerable position. Please be the ally that someone needs and help us make concrete change in this institution. Thank you.
I saw only one person, but if you want to raise a point, please make it known to me now, unless we have to move on. Okay. So, I see one over here. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Ann. I've been a student here for 4 years. I'm going on more because I'm a master's student. I wanted to bring up the issue of academic freedom at the University of Albany, and specifically how UAlbany treats its faculty. I don't know about you guys, but I really love my professors, or at least I like their classes, and I think they're what make this university worth attending. I feel like we owe it to them to stand up for institutional protections when the university has made it clear that this is not their first instinct, and they may be even slightly dishonest in some of their public statements. As you might know, Monsanto filed a Freedom of Information request to investigate David Carpenter's finances. Dr. Carpenter is a professor at the School of Public Health and the founding dean. As an immediate reaction to Monsanto's request, UAlbany first tried to get Dr. Carpenter to sign a resignation letter. If he had done so, he would have also waived his right to sue UAlbany on allegations of age-based discrimination. "I will not retire under pressure," Carpenter said, and so he was placed on alternate assignment for 9 months, where he was restricted from teaching, research, and stepping foot on any UAlbany campus. I also don't know about you, but if an employer has to include a clause that would protect them from a discrimination lawsuit, it seems quite clear that they knew their approach to their own personnel was unjust. Dr. Carpenter has been serving as an expert witness in toxic pollution cases, and his past testimonies have forced Monsanto to pay out millions in damages. Expert witnesses are typically reimbursed for their time testifying. Dr. Carpenter wanted to direct this money back into his own program, where there's limited funding. Instead, he received the approval of 2 different vice presidents for research at UAlbany to do just that, and to support PhD students within the School of Public Health. Dr. Carpenter has done this, filed invoices and all, for 2 years. Dr. Carpenter is slated to be an expert witness again in 2 weeks to testify to the pollution harm suffered by the St. Regis Mohawk tribe. The St. Regis Mohawk tribe is suing Monsanto, but because of UAlbany's disciplinary investigation into Dr. Carpenter's finances, Monsanto has motioned for the court to pull Carpenter as a witness. It's a clear attempt by Monsanto to discredit Dr. Carpenter and to keep his expertise from costing their company any more money. And it's so sad that our university did not hesitate to turn against their faculty, who had worked there for 36 years, and bend the knee to Monsanto's whims. No hesitation to betray a loved professor, their students, indigenous peoples, and a public well-being as a whole. As of last night, UAlbany announced that Dr. Carpenter could resume teaching and research on campus. Awesome. Their investigation regarding Dr. Carpenter has concluded, and no discipline will be imposed based on such an investigation. I have no doubt that the mobilization in these past 2 weeks against UAlbany's actions by students, various environmental organizations, and academic professionals greatly contributed to UAlbany's decision to reinstate Dr. Carpenter. But what is there to stop University at Albany from doing this again? Will we, as students and community members, have to watch UAlbany like a hawk and do the work of enforcing anti-discrimination policy, free speech, and academic freedom for a research institution worth millions of dollars? What is going to be done to make me trust my school again? Who is going to protect my professors? Many people have asked me, is Monsanto a major donor to UAlbany? It's a great question, but I can't answer it because I don't know. I know multiple people actively researching this question, going as far to ask members of the Alumni Association for leads, and they can't answer it because they do not know. We should not have to go to these lengths in order to find out who our university is pocketing money from, and whether it's a mega corporation responsible for poisoning us. I'm here to spread awareness on this institutional shortcoming that will plague UAlbany if policy changes are not made. I want to ask the Student Association to advocate for university policy changes that would bar Dr. Carpenter's situation from repeating itself. I have no doubt that this may happen again in a few years if no changes are made. UAlbany needs to present its donors in a more accessible and more transparent way. UAlbany needs to update its personnel procedures if they include resignation under duress. And UAlbany needs to investigate to determine the individuals responsible for Dr. Carpenter's treatment and hold them accountable. I think in addressing these issues of academic freedom and corporate involvement on campus, as well as addressing the other issues brought up today, it will go a long way to making UAlbany an institution I can be proud of again. I know there may be limits on what the Student Association can do, but I trust you all will do the most. Thank you.
Okay, once more, if you're blocking the exit, please make your way around the room. If any space, try to find it, because that is a fire hazard. I see one person wanted to make another point in public comment. Is there any more people? Keep in mind that this is the one section where the public can speak during the meeting. Okay, go ahead.
Hi friends, my name is Helen. I don't have a speech prepared because I honestly wasn't anticipating to speak today. I just wanted to go back to the issue of sexual violence and sexual assault on this campus. I used to be a sexual violence prevention ambassador, and I used to work very closely with the Advocacy Center, which is no longer a service that's available to students anymore. And it is mainly due to the fact that the person who was running the Advocacy Center retired, and the university failed to find another person to replace who used to run the Advocacy Center. And now students who are survivors and victims of sexual violence no longer have another means of support, nor do they have another means of accessing information as well as who to go to besides the Title IX office. The Title IX office, in my honest opinion, is not adequate enough to represent those who are victims and survivors of sexual violence. So tonight, what I'm asking for is for senators to consider pushing for an advocacy center to be reinstated again. I understand that there has been a sexual violence prevention coordinator that was hired recently, but I still don't think that is enough. One singular person who is a sexual violence prevention coordinator cannot represent all the victims and survivors on this campus. We need to do more. We need to have an advocacy center, and we need to have multiple people who are able to support those who are survivors and victims. When the Advocacy Center was a resource that was available to students, our advocates would go to the hospital with these students and sit with these students throughout their hospital visit to get rape kits. We do not have that anymore as like a resource. Now all we have is the Title IX office. If you choose to report and go through with the Title IX process, then yes, you may receive some support with the situation at hand. However, if you choose not to go through with the Title IX office and you want to look into other resources, there are no means of support available to students. And I believe that it was incredibly unjust and unfair that we as the student body had no say in terms of whether or not the Advocacy Center is going to be a resource that's available to us anymore. The fact that students were basically kept in the dark. The university knew that Carol was going to retire, yet nothing was done about that. I think as a student body, we need to push for the Advocacy Center, and as a university and as a whole, we need to do better supporting those who are victims and survivors.
Are there any further people wishing to speak during public comment? Please make it known now. All right, I'm going to move on to campus climate. Do I have moves from senators? Senator Khan, I recognize you. If you could pass that mic over to Selwa.
Where's the second one?
Here.
Hi, everyone. First and foremost, thank every single one of you for being here right now. Even those of you who just happen to be here, thank you for staying. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hopefully understanding. You don't know what it means to have this many people in this room in support of survivors. And this is like very impressive to your friend, very impressive to the two of you. Thank you. On the topic of the Advocacy Center, like, hit me up, actually, because I have been talking about the Advocacy Center with Miss Kelly Gorman since I met her. Since I quite literally laid eyes on her, I said Advocacy Center ? And now it's going to be Advocacy Center, period, because we're going to get the Advocacy Center back, because we cannot have survivors slipping through the cracks. We cannot have survivors unsafe on their campuses. We cannot have abusers, or even alleged abusers, in positions of power, in positions of leadership, in prestigious programs, in prestigious internships, because what's the point of having so many people who come here to experience life and education if we can't be safe while doing it? And I'm never one to say, I speak on behalf of the whole Senate, because I don't know what anybody in this room is thinking, but I do know that the incredible support that I have felt, both personally and professionally, from my fellow senators in this room when it comes to the topic of advocating for survivors and the topic of supporting survivors, believing survivors. Most of the people who sit at these tables week after week are incredibly, incredibly passionate about this as well. And we have been talking to administration, which I wish there was more than the administration that we see in this room now, but I think there's enough people here that will give them a little bit of help, because this is important. And I'm very proud of every single person who's in this room right now. So thank you for being here, and thank you for...
Senator Rose.
I'd like to also echo those words. Thank everybody for being here, but I also want everybody to know, even if you didn't make a public comment, our job is to empower the student voice, and your voice is heard in this room. And your voice will always be heard in this room. And if you don't have anything to say, that is okay, but the voices in your head are heard by everybody in this room. And I will speak on behalf of the Senate body and say that we are here to support you no matter what. And it is okay if you don't have anything to say, but I want you to know that we will speak for you. And for the administration that did show up today, the ones that do care, please give them help. It is your job to hold them accountable. The same way that we hold each other accountable in this office, in the Student Association, it is your job to hold the university administration accountable for all of their actions, because we are the Student Association, but you are the administration. I want all of you to know that. And that's okay.
Vice President Medrano.
Hi, everybody. Echoing off of what everybody said, I just want to thank you for being so courageous and coming out and in sharing your story and empowering others to share, right? And I think this speaks to the fact that there's power in numbers and there's power in voices, and everybody sitting here, regardless of exactly what you said, if people said anything or not, your voice is heard and it's been transmitted and we're hearing it and we're bringing it over to, people that work in these offices, and we're explaining these issues and we're trying to figure them out, and we're all working collectively. And I think that speaks to this body, right? Everybody's so passionate in what they want to fight and what they want to change on this campus, just like the rest of you. So I think it's essential that we continue this and we start coming more often and we start voicing our opinions. Whether it be the smallest problem, somebody in this room has that same problem. They will work with you to get the legislation, to get things changed. So I just want everybody to remember that even for the smallest situations, please come to Senate, please voice your opinion and let us change things for you on campus. Thank you.
Parliamentarian Spry.
Hi. So first, thank you to everyone who had the courage to speak today, as well as everyone who had the courage to come out and be here in support of those people. There has been action taken by this body to encourage administration to make policy changes. And for that, we have many senators to thank for doing that, and thank you to all of them. But that's not enough. There aren't enough changes being made, and this isn't just about policy at all. This isn't the first time someone is coming to Senate to speak about something like this. This isn't an isolated incident. Problems like this happen a lot on campus, and the ones that we hear about are very few out of the many that happen. So we need to do more, and that being said, we can do more. Administration can do more. Administration can respond to these situations when they first hear about it instead of when they come public about it. The Student Association can do more. There are organizations that we fund that have made situations uncomfortable for survivors. And I know about those, and those exist, and the leadership of those organizations have many times made it very hard for survivors to do anything that they should be doing. And not just by staying quiet, but rather by making it actively difficult for them to do things. And the Student Association can and should do something about that. And I'm not speaking about just advocating for administration to make policy changes, but making their own policy changes and implementing different procedures and policies. I don't know exactly what the solution is, but we fund these organizations. It's partially our responsibility to make sure that there's change being made in these organizations to make sure that people support survivors.
Any further campus climate? Senator Klein.
Thank you. I'll be brief. Thank you to everyone for coming out tonight and showing support for whoever you may be supporting, whether it's a friend, someone you know. I think as elected officials, all of us in this room have questions to ask, not to just administration, but to you guys as well. What else can we do? What do you guys want to see us advocate for? Every single person that is a senator that's elected by a living area holds a town hall. I encourage all of you to attend those and talk to your senators and show them that you want change. Help us advocate and bring ideas to administration. We get Vice President Christakis in here maybe twice a semester, and I really wish he was here tonight to see how many people are passionate about so much on this campus, whether it's from the Title IX office to financial aid to administrative oversight. Every single one of you are here for a reason, and it's a very good reason. And I hope to hear more from all of you as our constituents to help us formulate solutions and move this campus forward. I really hope the administration that is here does take this back to the other administrators that probably really don't even see us as a legitimate body, that probably couldn't even care less what we say, but we say a lot, and it comes from people in this room that are just ordinary students that want to come here and get a degree and have a future. So I really hope administration is listening tonight, because a lot of important things are being said, and it can't keep falling on deaf ears. We need serious change on this campus, and it won't happen overnight, but I really hope that we can use this as momentum to raise some hell with administration and change some things on this campus, because God, it needs to happen. 4 years I've been here, and I haven't seen any significant changes. So hopefully this does start something. Thank you, and I'll yield back.
Are there any other senators wishing to speak on the Title IX Advocacy Center supporting survivors climate discussion? Senator Archer?
Okay, so before I go into what I originally wanted to talk about, I just want to thank everybody who spoke up tonight. I also want to thank everybody who came. I think all of the Senate agrees with me when I say this is the biggest turnout we've had in Senate so far. This is the most people we've had since we started Senate. But tonight, I would just like to talk about something else. I would like to talk about the code of conduct. So as senators, when we ran for Senate, we all agreed that we will follow the bylaws. We all agreed to advocate for the student body. I know we're all very passionate about Senate, but it's just some things that I wanted to address with how Senate has been running lately. I would just like to refer to bylaws 202.3, which is called Session Conduct Code. Excuse me, sorry, I'm overwhelmed. There's like so many people here tonight, and which I said all hit me in the heart. But I would just like to refer to 202.3.1, which says, a member, officer, or employee of the student association shall conduct themselves at all times in a manner which shall reflect credibility on the student association Senate. By this means we're senators, we're not only representing SA, we're all representing everybody in this room. So I just want to say this just to show, like, we need to be aware of how we conduct ourselves, especially during a meeting. We need to be aware of how we say things because they could be hurtful, they could be harmful. So I just wanted to shed light to another bylaw which states 202.3.3.1, a breach of the session conduct code is an act viewed as demeaning, disruptive, and unnecessary that specifically targets a fellow individual present at session. We all agree that we would be very, very respectful. We would be very, very understanding with what is being said. I just wanted to remind you guys, be aware of what you say and how you say things. Thank you.
Any further campus climate? Senator McGrath?
Yes. Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming. This is really exciting that you're all here. Unfortunately, problems are not solved in the boardroom. They're not solved exactly by the Senate. The first steps are taken in this room where people come and they tell us how they feel, and sometimes we write legislation and we pass legislation. A few weeks ago, we actually passed a Title IX resolution spearheaded by Senator Khan, which was great. But when we pass resolutions and we pass legislation, nothing gets changed unless we go to the administration directly. Anything that's passed in here has the approval of a maximum of, 50 students? There are probably twice as many members of the public here as there are members of the Student Association. Your presence here is worth more than anything we could individually do as the Student Association. The fact that you are all here is just miles more important. And so when you leave today, I want you to know that unfortunately the work is not done. Unfortunately, we're going to do the best we can, but without the support of all these people in this room, without you continually making your voice known, absolutely nothing is going to move forward the way that we want to. But our collective support and our collective voice will help push it forward more. Why would we have the seal of approval from 50 students who are elected senators in the Student Association when we can have the seal of approval from the 200 people in this room? So I just want everyone to keep that in mind as we move forward and we remember the things that the actions that we can take outside of this room matter so much more. But that is our last this climate, and a little anticlimactically, I'm going to move to move opening remarks before our 5-minute recess.
It's been moved to amend our agenda to add the opening remarks before our recess. There's second by Senator Blair. Any objections? All right, seeing none, so moved. I'll begin. I asked Senator McGrath to make that move so I could speak, and then after we both give our opening remarks, I'll release you for the 5-minute recess. But my name is Jayla Miller. If you don't know me, I was elected last year to serve this body along with the 50 other senators here, and then elected as vice chair to serve the body as a whole. But my main job, in essence, if I could put it into words, is to do what you're doing here, is to advocate for your voice and empower the student voice on this campus. So what you're doing here matters. It is what we are assembled to do. This is what the Student Association is for. I'm endlessly grateful for all of you showing up to support a fellow student, showing up to fight for survivors, showing up for this campus. So that's all I wanted to say. I also wanted to introduce Kelly Gorman, if she's able to stand. The Office of Health Promotion is here as a resource and to represent the administration. And Mackenzie, if you would raise your hand, all the way in the back as well. They're here as a resource to all of us. After our 5-minute recess, they'll all reach to the back, and then we have a center over here if you have any questions or comments for them. In closing, I just want to say I'm grateful again for all of you, but don't let this be the last time you show up for students and student issues and student power. It doesn't stop here. The work starts here. It doesn't stop here. So thank you for being here. I'll pass it on to Erin.
I'm good. You got it.
All right,
We're
so
good.
then we're moving into our recess.
Yeah, that went beautiful. Well done, guys. Well done. What? Okay.
That's what I said.
Why would that not go
So hard as a You took a celebrity. I did. Yeah, no, this picture was I should have given it. Sometimes people are not going There's this guy that just came in that I kind of like, but he's seen me in like, he's so wow. Oh my God. So this weekend I went to brunch with him. So I was outside with my liquor.
Yes, that was
So I seen him outside.
as much
And I was just in the here in government.
Oh my God.
So you should be lucky. Yeah. That's weird. Because like,
Just wanted to point out the Japanese Student Association, that's supplemental request, scholarship request.
okay.
And I think it's the Zeta Phi Beta request. It says sponsor.
I was wondering
co-sponsor
what the,
Cooper.
I don't know, because I know it's a recess, I don't know, Salwa, the
as much
senator,
as I do.
I'd be able to see with her.
I mean, if you see her, you can maybe chat. I will get her for you. Yeah.
Maybe y'all can do some.
It's so cute.
It's crazy.
What's your name?
Darius.
Salwa's on here. That's Salwa. Darius wants to chat. Darius. Oh! Hey! Because he came up and I was like, he just got straight into it. So she was like, he didn't take us on a date, nothing. She said, I'm gonna sit on the next day. I texted Kevin.
Somebody left their Carhartt hat on the floor. I know it's snowing outside, so don't leave it, but it'll be up here in the front.
All right, folks, we'll be starting again shortly. If you do plan on leaving, make your way to the exit. If you're a senator, please find your seat soon. And we'll be starting again shortly. That Nick stole it because I have a certain sense. That picture, and that's the picture that Nick is actually holding it. I don't know where it's been. We're going to order another one. Exactly. I actually don't have a lot. Mary Wisconsin. Senator Cooper? Senator Blair? Where's Senator Blair?
She left. Okay, well,
Okay.
move it back to order.
All right. I need order, folks. I don't want to have to bang the thing. This meeting is called to order again.
Does that mean racial order is banged on the table?
Yes, it is. We are called to order. Senators, find your seats. Members of the public, if you're talking, I need that done. Okay.
You're in the chest. You're in the chest.
Senator Cooper, please.
What position?
Hello, everyone. I'm Senator Cooper. Senator Rose can't chair this because he's in Chess Association. So I'll let the Chess Association member speak.
Hi guys. So, chess is a fun game. We have our meetings on Tuesday nights at 7:30, right here in this very room. And we've just recently added Friday meetings from 3:30 to 6 in the bottom floor of the library on Fridays. So we're requesting a supplemental. We just need some funding for some timers, some chess sets, Canvas subscription, and we have some graduating members that want to get some stools. Also just some food and napkins, cups, stuff like that for meetings, for when we have tournaments, because we like to have them for, we like to have food at them. So yeah, that's about it. Have me look for questions.
Any questions? Any moves?
I move to pass this by unanimous consent.
It's been a move to pass by unanimous consent. Is there a second? Second by Senator Millington. Any objections?
I've got a traveling chair. What's going on here? Let's go. Okay, I'll scroll. Thank you.
Look, everybody's using the whole club. Yeah. Chess is so bad. I think quality chess.
Jason, can we pay for
Are the phones? Are they phones? They can be
as long as they're not.
You know what I said?
What?
They put in money for still visible.
They know.
Are you sure? They're just gonna be.
You want to do it? Go ahead.
Okay. Oh wait, we've got a hand over here.
Can I make a move to spell sponsorship correctly?
I'm gonna say no and just have the sponsor amend that. Where?
I'd like to make an amendment.
Yes.
Make sponsorship spelled correctly.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not nice. I know about all of this.
I mean, it's not me.
Okay, can we quiet down a little bit here, please? Thank you. Okay. The sponsors free to present with the request.
Hello, everybody. This is Zeta Phi Beta sponsorship. Are they here? I'll let them speak.
Hi.
Hello everyone, my name is Kayla Rankin. I'm a junior at the university and I'm a Spring 22 initiate of the Exquisite Epsilon Nu chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and I'm also serving as this year's president. So a little bit about our organization. We are founded in 1920 by 5 amazing women at Howard University. So they founded this sorority with 4 core principles: scholarship, service, sisterhood, and fine and womanhood. And this year we would like to do our fine and womanhood luncheon as a way to give honor to them and give honor to the women who are across in our chapter. Really the luncheon is about honoring all the scholarship that we have done, community service that we've done, and about promoting fellowship among our sisterhood. And it's also about getting community members to see the work that we do, as well as you all these students that you guys can support us.
Okay, are there any questions for the sponsor? Questions first. Okay, anything else? Any moves? Senator Obarlo-Boba. We have a motion to pass by unanimous consent. Do we have a second? Senator Johnson, right? Is that, okay, any objections? Okay, seeing none, this passes by unanimous consent. Now we have the Japanese Student Association supplemental request. Are there any representatives from the group here? Okay.
You think so?
That's my committee. I'm so proud.
This is JSA. They're asking for $795.97 from supplemental. I'll let them speak.
Hello, my name is Saki Kawakami. I'm the Vice President of JSA, and about us, our goal as a JSA is to provide cultural perspectives, encourage unity, and promote social and self-awareness of Japanese students on this campus. But that doesn't mean Japanese, they have to be Japanese students to come to our club. Anyone that is interested in our culture, history, and even society is more than welcome to join us. And all is welcome and promote unity and diversity, which is why Japan Night is the biggest and most important event we hold every year. People from different backgrounds will come together with their love and support of Japanese culture. That is why Japan Night is held every year, to make our organization mission come to life. That is why we are requesting the supplement for Japan Night. And that is it.
Okay, are there any questions for the sponsor? Okay, any motions? Senator Zhang.
I move to pass by unanimous consent.
Okay, we have a motion to pass by unanimous consent. Do we have a second? Senator Velasquez, is that a second?
Yes.
Okay, any objections? All right, seeing none, this passes by unanimous consent.
Thank you.
Okay, Albany Girl Games. Is Senator Blair here?
No, but I'll take over since she's not. I'm supposed to be the sponsor.
Are you allowed to do that? I don't know if you can
I don't
make
know. I
yourself.
technically am the sponsor of this.
Well, Well, technically, Aria's not here.
Have someone make a move to amend it to add Jalen.
Well,
I mean, she's not here. So you're actually the vice chair. I am the vice. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have to be here anyway. Great. Okay. Zero.
Hi, I'm Bray. I'm the treasurer of Girl Games. This is Lexi. She's the president. And we're a women's weightlifting club on campus. And we're here for the new and unfunded line. Basically, this is just all the stuff we're probably going to need this semester to support our mission statement of empowering women and getting them in the weight room. And yeah.
okay, do we have any questions? Senator Klein, is that a question?
Yeah.
Can you speak up, microphone? Hand covered your face, so can't really hear you.
Why?
Hold up, we got a microphone coming your way.
Thank you. Why is it listed as NA for all the quantity and unit prices?
I didn't get any quantity unit prices, but if this is what the amount that they need, then this is the amount that they're going to get. If you want them to elaborate on what the unit prices are, if you have those numbers available. If you don't.
We have the links that we sent in, but I don't have like the exact unit prices on me right now. But we could like send it in if you really want it.
Is that a follow-up, Senator Klein? Okay, what is your motion?
To pass by unanimous consent.
All right, there is a motion to pass by unanimous consent. You can have a second. Senator King, is that a second?
Yes.
Any objections? Okay, seeing none, this passes by unanimous consent. Okay, we have a new and unfunded budget request for Weightlifting Club. Senator Cooper, you have the floor. Is there a representative from Weightlifting Club? Okay, come on up.
Hello, everyone. The lifting club is asking for $400 for the new and unfunded request. I will let the representative speak.
Hi everyone, my name is Ryan. I'm Vice President of the Weightlifting Club. So basically, we just meet up in the Indigenous Squad gyms a couple times a week, and we all work out together, just trying to kind of make a very inclusive and fun gym culture. So we're requesting the $400 to help us pay off debt from last semester. We had rented out the gym space in good faith from the campus rec, and unfortunately, we never were able to have a senator come to one of our meetings, and so the $400 would go towards helping to pay off that debt, and then so we could get going as a club for the semester as well.
All right, do we have any questions? Okay, does anybody have a motion? All right, let's see, Senator Regatero, is that how you say it? Regatero, okay, Senator Regatero.
Motion to pass by unanimous.
All right, we have a motion to pass by unanimous consent. Senator Millington, is that a second?
Yes.
All right, any objections? Seeing none, this passes by unanimous consent. We have the Video Games Club new and unfunded request. Is there a representative? Okay, wait. Senator Blair isn't here. You are. I'm acting. I'm chairing right now.
I can go grab Shania.
Well, you're right here right now. Who matters?
Okay. Where's the mic?
Okay. Jalen will be implied co-sponsor for this bill. Well, yes.
That's correct.
Okay, this is a
Acting in good faith.
video game club new and unfunded request. I'm going to let the introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, I am Noah Levine. I am the president of the Video Game Club, and we are asking to get the new and unfunded request to help give some sort of more beneficial sort of, I guess, benefit to our members. I think we recently died out 2 semesters ago, but I got the club, I started up again, and we mainly want to add in giveaways for our members during tournaments and stuff, as well as starting up a Minecraft server to account for the recent end of the Minecraft club on campus. So that's about it.
Okay, are there any questions? Okay, any motions? Senator Cervantes. All right, there is a motion to pass by unanimous consent. Let's see, Senator King, is that a second? Beautiful. Any objections? Seeing none, this passes by unanimous consent.
Is that it? Okay. What now?
We've agreed that it's not good for us to sit next to each other.
Okay.
Yes. Beautiful. There you go.
Right.
Because I said I'm joining the company.
Nathan?
She was like, do you
All right.
I was like, yeah, I'm a Sims. And then she
Please,
was like,
do the library.
She was like, is that how you see people? I was like, what? People that we both know how to see Sims. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty cool. And she was like, oh, you have Sims for all of us. And I was like, yeah, Jalen was in the base.
We have the, you want the presentation up, right?
I'll make this real quick.
What a monster.
And
No, I think they are playing. They're arguing.
Sarah and I were matching up today.
Where? Was that on purpose? That's so cute. When did you ever match so funny?
I saw she was wearing something this last week.
Yeah. So that's how them together. In the fifth floor. Oh, you can put the wall on the floor.
all right, thank you.
Everybody quiet down.
My name is Kerry Hatch. I am the interim dean of libraries here at the university. I began July 11th of 2022. Prior to that, I was at the SUNY System Office for 37 years. I came in basically training people how to use microcomputers in libraries, and I wrote digital transformation for the 37 years after that. And I was involved in contracting for Blackboard, SUNY Card, any kind of academic technology that's touching the university at this point in time. I pretty much had a strong hand in. Over the summer, Provost reached out to me. The Dean of Libraries was retiring or was moving on, and she asked me to come in and kind of get the library pointed in a new direction. Thinking about it as a future-facing organization. So I've been working on that with the crew, the staff since then. We are going through a reorganization process. I submitted a proposal to the Provost earlier today to kind of change how we do things, thinking about what the library organization will look like, the library services, how they will better serve you. I will be honest with you, academic libraries right now are designed more to serve people like me than they are like you. And thinking about, okay, what does an academic library look like today for the way you're learning, for the way that you're doing your research, and what's it going to continue to grow to be over the course of the next 10 to 15 years. So I want to start to have conversations with you about what that looks like. First off, questions. How many of you have been in the library this semester? Oh, I love it. And the chess club. Thank you for bringing the chess club in there. How many of you have used the library at least once a week? All right. Group work. Do group work. Okay. Individual study. How many of you use the physical materials in the library? The books or the bound periodicals? All right, fewer. How many of you use the electronic resources? All right. How many of you prefer to start your academic research on Google as opposed to the library websites? Oh, okay. All right, so Google's still the preference, right? Okay. How many of you have talked to a librarian, asked them a reference question, or gotten into a reference consultation? Wow, okay. Not bad. Good. So you're users, right? Are you happy with the services? Are you happy with the facilities? Can they be better?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. What would you like to see? Yes, ma'am.
I would like to see more commercial
Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am? I'm sorry?
An easier way to navigate.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
I'd like the computers for printing to be updated because right now it takes like 5 minutes for the screen to load, and when I have to rush to class to print, it's really not time.
Yeah. We were talking to ITS about that the other day. I wanted to go over a couple of things we are in the process of doing. I don't know how familiar you are with the basement. When you walk down into the basement, there's an area that was the current periodicals reading room. If you understand what current periodicals were, they were newspapers and journals and magazines, and people went into that room to hang out and read paper materials. We weren't getting paper anymore. No one was using the room. The carpet was ripped. So we are now in the process of doing a major renovation in that space. And these are some of the renderings from that wall. We're going to make it a multi-purpose room. So it will be available to you to use in a variety of formats. All the furniture is going to be modular. We're going to have a semi-stage area. We're going to have a nice projector, good audio system. We could use it for movie screenings, things like that. The furniture is going to be easily reconfigured. Actually, these circular tables are actually half tables, so they break up, and you can redesign the seating in different ways. We can have stage kind of presence. Furniture is going to be nice. It's already been ordered. We're hoping to have this ready for the campus showcase in April. So that's where our primary kickoff is going to be. And as I said, it will be available to you for purposes, through registration and other things. The other thing I wanted to talk about was this part on the other side of it. It's what we call the lower level lab. It's a terrible name. No one knows what it means. Right now, it's a space where we have higher end computers. We've got Adobe Cloud Services and things like that, digital creation space. Right now, the computers are in this space. We've emptied out all of this area, and we're going to push back to allow more use of higher end technologies. So we're thinking about things like, do we make it a maker space? Do we have a poster printer? Things like that. And I'd like to hear your input. It doesn't have to be now, but if you want to do it now, we can. I just want to be cognizant of your time. But really looking for making this more of a creation facility. And what's interesting, because when previously libraries thought that people learned by reading, right? You learn by reading and writing, and that's actually one of the worst ways to learn. You learn by creating and building. So thinking about how we can actually leverage that and build it into the spaces as we go. And thinking about the services that we need to provide that go with that. Yes, sir.
These are renovations for the library, correct?
Yes.
When do they plan on taking place?
I'm sorry?
When do you plan on actually renovating the library? Will it be closed during these renovations?
The current periodicals reading room, that one where the yellow is, the LI003, that's currently under renovation. Painting's been done. They put the glue down on the floor. They're going to lay the carpet in. And that's going to go in pretty soon. The rest of it, probably over the summer on the other side. And we just had a conversation with ITS about the information commons computers on the first floor. They are not as heavily used as we have too many of them. So we're going to take some of them out. And there's actually a Mac lab. I don't know if you're familiar with, there's a back room where there's a lot of Macs. We're going to bring those Macs out into the general area, which is going to open up another room for us to do something differently. So again, thinking, okay, how do we engage? How do we have more spaces that you're going to be comfortable learning in and engaging in? Yes, sir.
So you mentioned about poster printer and that, how you want the library to be a place of creativity. So is there any plans for these new accessories to be free of use to students? Because currently we can't even go there and print stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So
that's TBD, and we're actually talking to ITS about how do we make the printing free. One of the things we're going to try and have a meeting with the business school. They've got a program where they can bring students in to take a look at processes or work with departments to do things. We want to bring in business students to look at the process of printing. on campus and that whole nonsense with SUNY card and putting money on it and all that stuff, we can make that easier and better. We know that, so I can't guarantee it's going to be free, but that would be the goal.
So to follow up on that, I mean, there are other SUNYs that are in similar enrollment levels as us that have free printing or some form of cheaper printing, and we pay an awful lot for the services at this school. So why are we, I mean, we as an association have been advocating for free printing for as long as I've been on this campus. So why are we slow walking this and saying we're going to branch out to business students and try and see a process when it really seems as simple as just shifting funding to student cards and giving us, I don't know, maybe $10 a semester to just print stuff. I mean, that's something we've asked for. And
if you don't mind, I mean, like I said, I started in July. If you've got things you've proposed before, you know, shoot them over. I'll take a look at them. We are starting to have the conversation with ITS. It's really, we house the printers and we house the computers, but it's ITS managed. You know, so we're working with them to try and figure those pieces out. Like I said, I can't guarantee it, but we're certainly looking at it. You know, the other thing to be aware of is we're also looking at different kinds of materials. Are there things you would rather use than books and journals? Right? I mean, there's a lot of interesting technology out there now for teaching and learning, AR, VR, simulations, you know, interesting labs. We are actually having conversations with the deans to try and get them more engaged about thinking about what some of those new tools might be. If you can egg them on a little bit, I can work with them. I've had some interesting conversations with some providers for those kind of tools, and there's some really good possibilities there. Yes, sir.
Earlier in the year, President Rodriguez came here and said SUNY Albany is looking to advance in the cybersecurity and artificial
intelligence, yeah.
Is there a plan for the library to kind of...
I am trying to set up the library as a hub for artificial intelligence. That's part of what this is. The one thing, when you think about University of Albany, you think about all the great resources that are available to people. A lot of times they're locked away in departments, right? So ETech has some really fantastic facilities. They're for the students that are in that program. The library is the commons for the university. You come into a library, you have access to everything that we have. So that's where we want to leverage the library. We've been talking to our vice president for research and the provost about how do we position the library to be that common area for artificial intelligence. We are looking at that multi-purpose room as a way to leverage that, bring in faculty members who are doing research, you know, to different departments at different point in time, having highlighting events and things like that. So yeah, we are trying to figure out how we play in that space. Yes, ma'am.
Is there like an expected budget for that process of transitioning the library into more AI operations? And
I work within the confines of the existing budget that I have. So there will be things, and it will be shifting of resources.
So can we use that shifting of resources to get free printing on campus instead of using it for AI?
We can look at that, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a possibility for the new room to be like more study group?
I'm sorry, more what?
More study groups?
More, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. More what?
Study rooms?
More group study rooms?
Yeah.
Those rooms, that larger room is not really going to be a group study room. It's going to be more of a multi-purpose room, but as we look in the other area, we will be looking at ways to make more group study rooms. We're also looking at the President's Reading Room and doing some redesign in the President's Reading Room and thinking differently about that space as well. Okay. Yes, sir.
So for that room, would administration perhaps be interested in building a makerspace location in that room? There's been a lot of talk of investment in engineering, in creativity, and a makerspace would be a great opportunity for students to be able to, just...
Yeah, if we do a makerspace, it's probably going to be more on the other side, not in that L003, it'll be on the other side, or it will be up in that room that we're going to basically repurpose from the Mac Labs. So yeah, we are thinking about that, and where does that go? The other thing to be aware of, I don't know if you're aware of it or not. Let me see if I can pop up a browser real quick. no, I won't bother. But there's, if you go to our website, there's an events page. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but we have, we offer Python courses. So if you want to learn how to code in Python, we have Python courses. We have a podcasting studio with a green screen. So if you want to do video production, we can do that as well. And we're looking to ramp up those services as well. Yes, sir.
This is a question for someone. Does the library still use the Dewey Decimal System?
No.
Okay.
No. Library of Congress classification. The other thing I encourage you to do is go down in the basement sometime and just look. All right? I mean, if you look in this LI003, we'll only go up to here. We've got rooms that border out on that garden space underneath. And I don't know if you've looked at the natural light that comes into some areas in the library. It's amazing. These are going to be really, this is going to be a really nice space, primarily because it's got natural light coming in. And if you think about if we can host an event and be able to go out in that garden space in the patio area when the weather's nice, that's going to be incredible. If you go on the other side of the complex, of the floor, we've got football fields full of bound periodicals that no one uses, right? And thinking about how do we actually recreate that space. We're in the process of looking at how do we start to remove parts of the collection and move them into storage so that we open up more space for student use. You know, so I encourage you to go down there and kind of open up your imagination and think about things, because we are really getting excited about the possibilities of that space and what it could mean. We're in conversations with the tutoring center because they're located right next door to us now, and we can start to work in conjunction with them as well. Yes, ma'am?
Could you make the door right outside available to go?
I know, it's weird because it's locked, right? Because we're afraid you're going to steal books. Yes, that's why it's locked. Yeah. I'm having that conversation with people. Yes, ma'am.
I think my question, like some of the study rooms that are on the first floor, some of the study rooms that are on the first floor, like when people like go in them and use them, they're not like soundproof or they're not even like.
Yeah, because they don't have, they got openings on the top, right? That was just the design. You know, the one thing to be aware of is that the master plan for the campus calls for that building to completely be gut rehabbed in the next 10 years. You know, so we are looking at ways to at least freshen it up a bit while we do that. And we are talking about how do we make some of those existing group study spaces better. And as we think about like new spaces, how do they work? And keeping their technology up to date. Look at my name. You know, you can look on the website, the library website. You can easily find my name. Feel free to shoot me an email. Give me a call if you want to stop by, knock on the door. You know, I really want to hear from you because you're the ones who are using the library. You're the ones that are impacted by the space. You're the ones that are impacted by the collections. And I want to make sure that we're meeting your needs. Because that's pretty much what the provost has charged me to do. The other thing I want to say in closing is I was here for the earlier conversation. I heard you. I am going to have a conversation with my fellow deans. We meet on a regular basis just to make them aware of the conversations that you had here, the passion you have, and the turnout that you have.
All round of applause for everybody. So we're going to move on to our chair of our elections commission. Where'd the mic go? Oh, I didn't know what was there.
Hello everyone. So to start off my report, we are officially in the spring general election timeline. I don't know. My last one, which is a little bit sad actually. It's serious. I know you're going to have someone else next year. I think that's a good thing. I think it's time. So anyway, it started on Monday at 12 p.m. and it will remain open until March 6th at 12 p.m. So it's a long self-nomination period. So please make sure that you're sharing, talking to your friends, trying to drum up support. This is a great organisation to be part of. You have an opportunity to make change, as we've seen, by how powerful people think that this body can be and the advocacy that you do. I know that from my position, I'm proud of all of you, and I've been proud to be part of your journey with SA. So outside of the general, I've been doing the following. So I reviewed my first batch of constitutions and worked with the Supreme Court and Tamara on sharing what election policy should look like in a student group constitution. As always, I really appreciated working with you guys. You guys have been so patient with me while I've been navigating this process, so I appreciate you both. I am meeting with the EC in the coming days to get all the logistical plans set for the big events of the general election, things like polling, forum, results reveal, so stay tuned on that one. And I'm also going to review and finalize the student orgs elections policy. So I will probably share that with rules, and then you guys can distribute. I activated the student organization complaint form on my involvement for student org to submit any complaint they might have with an organization's elections practices. That's open until the end of the semester. So if you're part of an org or you know of anyone, please just spread that word, because that is available to anyone that wants to flag that with us. And that's it from me.
Any questions for Catherine? All right. I don't have a question. I'm going to phrase it as a question. Did you know, Catherine, that self-nominating for the general election is a really important thing that you all should advocate all of your friends to do?
I would honestly agree with this.
Okay, great.
I endorse it.
Thanks. So make sure you do that. I would like to see a full Senate next year from the start. So let's get that. We'll move on now to Senator Rose. You can pass down the mic or throw it at him or something like that.
Okay, I'll stand up for my reports. I'm already here. I really only have one thing to report. Well, two. One, you guys are giving away the money at a very rapid rate. It's not what I expected you guys to do. So when all of the money is gone, please don't come into the office and yell at me when we're unanimously consenting to everything. I just want to make that aware when you're not looking at the bills and just approving amounts. I can't do anything about that. My job is to facilitate, not to monitor, all that all the time. So just be careful of what you're doing. Second, everybody makes mistakes. So I'd also like to report that I made a mistake. Last semester, when I was keeping track of the supplemental funds, I wrote a $56,000 instead of a $54,000. So my committee was under the impression that we had $56,000 left to give away. We did not. That led to the supplemental line being, was it negative 2,100? Yeah, something like that. It was a negative 2,100. I want to take accountability for that because I believe in transparency. But the line transfer that we did moved that 10,000, so it covered it. So there isn't actually 10,000 in that line. There's 8,000 since you passed the bills. There's like 6,000 in there. I'll give you updated numbers next week. Still working with the comptroller, updating those numbers. But if there's any questions about that, I'm more than happy to answer. And I'm always in the Student Association office. By always, I mean always. I barely go to class. If you see me, I'm probably in the office. So, yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we're going to have to impeach Jalen for his any questions? Any questions for Senator Rose? All right, seeing none, I'm going to pass it to our interim vice chair / chair of the rules.
Okay, good evening, everybody. The Rules Committee had a scheduled meeting at 2:30 p.m. this Sunday on Zoom. Now, I opened the Zoom meeting at 2:20 p.m. I was watching the Daytona 500. I sat there, and nobody showed up. Gonna be honest, I was a little mad, but I would have been even madder if it was in person, so it was fine. No skin off my back, you guys just all have unexcused absences, but next time, if you can't go, just send me an email, so I'm not sitting there. Other than that, nothing else to report. Have a lovely evening.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you leave your committee chairs upstanding, we're going to have a talk. Speaking of that, actually, before we get into the other ones, respond and fill out the committee reassignment sheet so you can talk to me or actually. Yes.
You're going to have to respond to my email about it.
Oh, excuse me. You're out of order. Get out. Okay, I have to see because this is the first time hearing of it. But yeah, fill that out so we can talk and so we can finally get you on committees you want to be on and you will be attending so we don't have an attendance problem. All right, so with that, we'll move on now to Senator Khan.
Hey, doing a lot of community engaging and outreaching. No, but seriously, if you guys want, if you haven't talked to Jalen and Naya about what committee you want, please consider CEO. You can
talk to me, you can talk to my ranking. They will give you all the information that you need to know. Currently actively writing, ghostwriting, some legislation that will hopefully go through our committee and then through exec, concerning some changes to bylaws, and so I guess I'll also go through rules. Changes in bylaws concerning how many student association sponsored events you have to go to as a senator, how many student association organization groups meetings you have to go to as a senator, as well as implementing community service hours, because what we do in this room literally matters 0% if you're not doing something tangible outside of this room. And with that, I echo what I said last week, which was senators, please not only show up to essay-funded events, but reach out to directors and ask them for help, or ask them if you can help, because every director has a lot of work on their plate, and will gladly take somebody to like take some of that work, even if it's like weird stuff.
Any questions for Selma? Senator Klein?
So with that bylaw, would it be going into effect immediately down the road next semester maybe? Because with the spring election, you mentioned community service hours and stuff like that. I feel like that's something that people already running for the current election that may have submitted a self-nom should know about. So what would be a timeline on implementing that? Thank you.
I don't know the timeline. Like I said, I am ghostwriting, so I'm letting other senators take the wheel. But this is the time for the people who are self-nominating or thinking of self-nominating to know there's a very good chance that you're going to have to make up somewhere between 5 and 10 hours of community service as a senator. We have not decided on that. If you are interested in running for Senate, you should sure as heck be watching what we're doing. So this is your warning. You're going to have to do community service.
Any further questions? Senator Rose?
Question, please. Remember when this was the committee that y'all made fun of?
Okay, so I mentioned this I think last week. Senators are supposed to go to like 3 sponsored events from the executive branch. Is there like a way we're keeping track of that for everybody in the room? You're supposed to go to 3 events sponsored by SA.
I've been like triangulating other chairs in the room to figure this out because the bylaw is very like, we have never followed that, so I'm gonna be annoying, so we're gonna follow this one, but I believe it would go through ethics? Question mark? Yes? It should go through ethics.
What should go through ethics?
Proof of an essay event, or is it through SOCO? Because I have asked them both, and is it the rules?
What is this back and forth? Just answer the question.
Yitty?
Say you're working on it. I'm moving on. Any further questions?
He's not here. He left.
All right, all right.
Oh, it definitely.
Might be CEO, but that's
We sent it to Ashley last year.
Okay.
okay. So I guess so. I have received 0 emails from any of you, so
We'll do some research about it. Senator Zhang, is this a question? Yeah. Okay.
So it is 3 per year. 3 events I have to attend 1 year, right?
It's semester.
Oh, 3 per semester.
Yes, it might be subject
3 a year.
to change in the new bylaw. Change that should be coming to us.
Okay. So if we so what if I think it also says that we also take a picture of us at the event, right?
Yeah, I believe in the current bylaw is a picture and a so what we would like to what happened at the summary.
So I did go to me and the student group affairs director did have a program, but I forgot to take a photo of it.
If you can send me the flyer that or whatever, like that would work too.
All right, thank you.
Senator Rigatero.
Should I whisper it to the iPad?
I have a motion. Motion to make
Hey,
student
Bestie, I see your
affairs for the top
comments.
of the executive reports.
You can email me and I'll read whatever you say out loud if you want. Give me directions, whatever you're into.
First executive report, is there a second? Second by Senator
I'm gonna send my
Velasquez.
email
Any
in the thing.
Seeing none, so moved. Continuing with our reports, we'll go now to Senator Zhang.
Hi everyone, the students,
The person who was gonna come today is
Consistent
commenting.
Relations Committee will have a
They asked if they
quick
could say
meeting
something.
we'll have a meeting during our budget appeal process about let's see, the town hall due to the community assignment not being complete yet, so that we can have senators that are appointed to the committee to have a say in the date and time of the town hall, because it is sort of expected that consistent relations committee members should attend the town hall, but I don't think it's in the bylaws, but so it's not mandatory. And keep in mind, we would need around 2 to 3 weeks to set up a town hall. So the town hall will be set up during the campaigns. So and I also sent out an email about a week ago to living area centers about setting up a town hall at their area, but it appeared that nowhere in the bylaws said it was required. So I want to thank Senator Archer for finding that. But if you do want to have a town hall at your living area, please do respond to my email or email me to FYE at Albany.edu. And so for those of you that has responded, I will start setting up with Shannon and booking available spaces, and hopefully around within a week or so. And also do email me if you do have a preferred location. If not, I will just put it in the LCs or somewhere close to your living area, and yeah, that's it.
Any questions for Senator Zhang on his first report? Senator Klein?
Are off-campus senators going to be considered living area this year? Because typically they have been told to do town halls.
So how I'm doing it, I just considered living areas like State Quad, Indigenous Quad, basically just on the campus. That's how I'm doing it.
Is there a question? Okay. Senator Archer?
To answer your question, being that he's on the FYE committee, he's required to have town halls for state and indigenous. That's all, only because they're first year students, that's required for them. It's not required for no other living area to have a town hall, that's not stated in the bylaws. Like he stated, if you want to have a town hall for your living area as senators, you're free to. We can help you. You can come to me, I'll help you. But it's not required. It's not in the bylaws, so don't feel pressured to open yourself up for availability because it's not a requirement.
Okay. Any further questions for Senator Zhang on constituent relations? All right, seeing none, Senator Zhang, continue.
So our program was we had 5 people that attended. I think it was pretty successful. It was pretty successful considering there was people that attended. And 3 was late. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for my report.
Any questions? Seeing none, I'm going to move on to our Chair of Ethics, Senator Jamil.
Hi everyone. So for my report, we wrapped up another complaint and we found no violation to be issued there as well. We concluded that if anything, it would be more a matter for the Supreme Court, and even so, we decided that we didn't see any recommendation that we needed to make to the Supreme Court. So not an ethical thing, but also no recommendation needed. We also received 1 more new complaint, so a total of 2 pending complaints right now. For the first one, we're just still doing that research that I had previously mentioned, and for the second one, we have decided to launch an investigation, and we're calling in somebody for questioning, and that will be happening tomorrow. And that's all.
Any questions for Senator Jamil? All right, seeing none, I'm going to move on to Senator Crawford. You can pass down the mic, please.
Hey, hello everyone. My committee met today, so that means that we have now met twice this semester. We had 4 complaints as of this week in my committee, but we did not open 2 of them. So there's still 2 ongoing investigations only as of right now. We made progress with those as well today, so those moved on to the next steps. So yeah, I'll have updates for that next week. But there is one thing I wanted to talk about because I've been getting a lot of questions about what can be submitted to my committee, what can be submitted to ethics, and how you do it, and how you fill out the bridge comment form. So I'm going to give a really quick one through on what we can do so that we're not all wasting our time sending things to the wrong places or filling out forms for the wrong things. So when you fill out a complaint form, it's not like, oh, this person made me mad, so I'm going to go see if I'm going to go submit their name to a committee and see if I can get them in trouble for something. You have to find a bylaw. Someone has to take an action, or they have to admit to taking an action to you of breaking a bylaw. So you have to know your bylaws. You have to pick which one was broken. You put that in the complaint, and then you explain the scenario and how the bylaw was broken. Our committees can only decide on broken bylaws. We can only give opinions and decisions and punishments and remedies for bylaws that are broken. If we conclude that no bylaw was broken, then there's nothing our committees can do. It has to be some kind of other internal solution other than our committees to fix that complaint. So if you have a bylaw that's broken from the ethics bylaws, from the 700 section, that goes to SARA, that goes to ethics. If you have any other bylaw that was broken, and it was a senator that broke the bylaw, that goes to rules and administration. If it was a non-senator that broke the bylaw,